I'm joined right now by Associated Press reporter Kareem Chehayeb, live in Beirut for us. Right now, what is the tone and what are you seeing happening above you in the air?
There is a lot of fear and uncertainty going on in Lebanon right now. Right behind me here in Beirut, cabinet met for the first time. They're trying to push for a diplomatic solution to stop this from spiraling out of control. Just a few blocks away, hundreds of families have moved away from southern Beirut after the strikes in recent days. They're out on the streets with little more than the clothes on their back. And of course, from a distance, we do hear strikes over southern Beirut from Israeli jets. So at the moment, things are very, very uncertain. People are scared of this spiraling out of control. And, it's very unclear as well. Hezbollah have been very quiet, so we don't know what steps they will take next after the assassination of their, longtime leader, Hassan Nasrallah.
I'm sure they are grieving, but at the same time, there are questions about whether or not fighting will intensify or if all of those soldiers, those militants with Hezbollah, are in utter confusion. Are you getting a sense of which is which?
There is certainly a sense of, confusion as to what's going to happen next. There's lots of, reports emerging of, a possible ground invasion, for example, and it's really unclear how things will be going forward. What role will the Lebanese army play in such a case, or how will Hezbollah take their next steps? They lost a lot of senior commanders in such a short period of time, and they only have a handful of senior leaders who can really pick the militant group up. And the question is, what direction will they take if there's a severe blow? It is a very big transitional period for this conflict. It's a tipping point for Lebanon and the entire region. There's no doubt about it.
In terms of the culture there in Lebanon, the people, the Lebanese people, what is their relationship to Hezbollah? Do they see them as the same? Do they see them as the government, or do they see them as a separate thing entirely?
Yeah, Hezbollah is a very, very divisive entity in Lebanon. Their supporters are extremely loyal to them, notably for their role in ending Israel's occupation of southern Lebanon. Hezbollah also provides services mostly to the Shia Muslim community. And so through this, through these generations, they've developed a sense of loyalty. However, their opponents, see them as very problematic, for Lebanon. They see them as, fulfilling an Iranian agenda for Lebanon. They question why is there an organization that has, a separate, a paramilitary group, which they say violates Lebanon's sovereignty. Hezbollah, have members of parliament, but they also have their own, armed entity, their own militant group, which, can take a lot of decisions on their own. So it's very divisive. And long term, even if this conflict, with Israel comes to an end, there's questions about possible civil unrest in Lebanon because of what's happened over the past 11 months. Lebanese officials, including the ones in, government, their biggest priority right now is to make sure that there's no sort of tension between Lebanon's parties, which historically have been very, always tense and at each other's throats. So it's a very divisive entity, especially Hassan Nasrallah as a leader.
In terms of what happens next, we've seen the Houthis fire on Israel from Yemen. Even with a lack of commanders, I mean, we showed on the screen how many of the Hezbollah commanders were taken out by recent Israeli strikes. Obviously, this was a bold move by Prime Minister Netanyahu and the IDF. Is the retaliation not only from Lebanon, but from the Houthis in Yemen, from Iran itself, is that something that is predicted will happen in the coming days?
At this point, it's still unclear. Hezbollah, even without most of their senior leadership, they're still a bureaucratic entity. They're still firing rockets at northern Israel. But, as in other cases where their senior officials, who are, not as high up as Hassan Nasrallah, of course, have been assassinated, they have sort of taken their time with their response. And for Tehran, obviously, Iran is in a very difficult, situation. It's unclear, because they can either take action and then, that could further risk a regional war, which could, change the Middle East. Or if they take a step back, they might look weak. That's what a lot of analysts are saying. So there's a big policy dilemma for Iran. And, for Hezbollah, it's a big question about where do they go next?
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.